Yeah, so Tim, what do you think about these 2 new collections that came out?
Yeah, I'm not really a Turrican guy, to be honest. I don't think I've even played them. So, and then when I looked at the cart, there's like 8 different versions. I didn't even know there was 8 versions of the game. So, but it looks really cool. So, if anyone is a Turrican fan, they're going to be quids in there because they've got 8 Turrican games on one cartridge. So, I do like that style of game. It looks like Contra. It's their run and gun sort of ones. I quite liked. It wasn't Contra. It was like a version of Contra that we got over here, where you were robots instead. Pro Protector 2 was the one I think I played quite a bit. That was a really fun one. As for the Taito 3, I'm a big fan of Puzzle Bobble. Puzzle Bobble is a brilliant game. I think whenever I get my Pandora's Box machine out, Puzzle Bobble always gets a look in. That's just it's also a really fun multiplayer when you've got 2 people on each side, racing to get the bubbles off. There's lots of games like that. We've got to go match the colours, shooting off. It is very much like that Beehive Bedlam that used to be on the Sky TV box back in the day. If you ever got a chance to play on Beehive Bedlam, that was good fun. And it's like that. So I would say Puzzle Bobble and Beehive Bedlam for me are like the top ones of that style of game. There's lots of similar versions, but yeah, that's one of the best. So yeah, it's definitely worth it for that alone, I think, because that's such a fun game. And I'm delighted to see Quicks on there. Quicks is an old favourite of mine that I used to play on the BBC Micro. And you're controlling like a little dot that moves a line around. And then if you reconnect to the line, it fills in the smaller blank space and sort of close it off like you've captured a zone. And then you can build another and another, or you like cut the map in half and get all this. And you've got to fill up the map. But there's something bouncing around. And if it hits you while you're not on, where you're not connected, then you die. So sometimes you might make like a little bit and then a little bit because you don't want to take a big risk. Or you can, what I used to do just for fun, because I used to like doing this, was start a game to go straight up the map. And sometimes you'd get to this side and just complete half the screen in one go, and boom. But if it hit you, you'd die immediately. So I used to kind of like to take the risk to see would I make it across the map before it touched me. And yeah, I've seen a few games that have the similar concept that have been sort of clones of that have come out since, but nothing does it better than Quicks. Quicks was the original, I think, that had that concept, and yeah, great fun. As for the other games, can't really speak too much about them because I don't think I'm familiar with a lot of these. So it's, again, a good opportunity to discover new games. But is it Kadash? I'm not sure how you pronounce that one. That looks my kind of game, like an adventure quest game. This is 1 to 2 players as well. And you've got a few sort of you've got Crazy Balloon and Lunar Rescue, more sort of old school games, and Zookeeper as well. So you've got a few of the more sort of old school games on there, but then you do have Football Champ and Puzzle Bobble, slightly later eras. So good mix, I think. I think out of all the Taito carts, they do seem to be sort of quite good additions to the system.
Yeah. So Derek, what do you think on these carts that I just released? Well,
yeah, I mean, Taito Collection 3 was pretty much inevitable. I'm really pleased for the community because they wanted Puzzle Bobble. They were desperate for it. It's got some new ones on there as well, like Camel Try. That runs best really with a spinner, to be honest, that sort of thing. So it'd be interesting to see how it works with the control pad. It's great to see Football Champ on the big screen. I've got the Taito Super Pocket, so for myself personally it's not worth a grab because obviously I've already got Puzzle Bobble, it's on the move and things like that. But yeah, I mean, there's some ones in there like Crazy Balloon and things like that. Again, you've got to really enjoy that sort of 80s arcade to want to get involved with that type of game. It's something really, even at my stage of life, I'm starting to move away from. Obviously, a big fan like myself wanted to see the likes of Rainbow Islands, Paracel Stars. To put it into comparison, on Black Friday, I grabbed Taito Collection 3 on the Switch, and that had Bubble Bobble, Rainbow Islands, it had Rastan Saga 2, it had Thunder Fox, which is a brilliant beat 'em up. Do you know what I mean? It really pumped out the bad boys, and for $12.95, that was killer for a physical. Yeah. So in comparison, for £20, I'm not getting anything new that I haven't already got on my Super Pocket. But at the same time, for fans, I'm excited for them for Puzzle Bobble, and also it's a great way to play it on your Alpha, don't forget. So if you own an Alpha, the ultimate way to play Puzzle Bobble is to play it on there. So who knows, next year on Black Friday, 20% off, I may well pick it up on the Evercade, but at the moment, I think for full price, I've already got the games. And again, as I say, I'm trying not to double dip, so I'm not going in really on that. The other collection, obviously, it's Turrican. It's a classic run and gun video game. I did own them back in the day, things like Turrican, Turrican 2. If you're in the comments, you're unfamiliar with these games. If you're buying the collection, I would say go straight to the Mega Drive version, Mega Turrican. It's a lot more linear to the other ones, and it'll give you a bit of a grounding, lot sort of more simplistic, rather than trying to jump into sort of Turrican and Turrican 2, which again are very sort of open worldy. You can literally explore anywhere. There's millions of power-ups and hidden places to discover. There's great bosses, things like that. So, yeah, I mean, there's lots of enjoyment on that collection. To put it into comparison, if you bought it on the Nintendo eShop today, the exact amount of games that you've got on that cartridge, you'll pay £14. So although you won't own it physically, obviously, it might be a way for people to have a go at it and see if it's your cup of tea before you drop that 20. So that might be a little method for them. I already own the Turricans on Switch, so again, it's not really a collection I need to pick up. I think probably the Switch version of Turricans is probably the last time I'll ever purchase Turrican again in my lifetime. It's quite sad to say that, but I think there's no need to continually keep purchasing the same old games over and over again. It's the ultimate collection for me. It works really well with the sticks. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. Had Evercade have done this collection 3 years ago, undoubtedly it would be in my collection right now. But the trouble is, if you get caught with your trousers down, other developers have shoved this out on their platforms, you're going to get to where you are now, which, as I say, where you're being a bit picky and choosy. But yeah, I would have absolutely loved this 3 years ago, and 100% it would have been a center of attention with my Evercade collection. So yeah, I mean, hopefully in the new year, Blaze are going to start pumping out those cartridges that I haven't yet picked up on things like Nintendo Switch. There's still time. But as I say, the longer they drag it out, the more chance I've got of grabbing these up, especially with Cyber Monday, January sales, Easter sales. They're all coming. And you can literally, as I say, the Taito Collection 3, $12.95. And that was posted brand new from a company. Yeah. So they really, really got to jump on this. This is their ultimate chance in 2026. But for people that are new to Turrican, or as I say, if you want to get back into it, you might get a bit of a shock. You might really enjoy the style. I grew up with it, so it's a little bit different. But to put it into context, of my grandson, who had a go on Turrican, and his comment was, "Well, we've got Metroid Prime 4 this week, so would you rather play Metroid Prime 4 or Turrican?" And truthfully, I won't be able to leave Metroid Prime 4 alone. Yeah. So, yeah, that's how gaming moves on. It doesn't matter whether I like it or not. There's no argument there. Yeah. I couldn't say to him, "Oh yeah, well, of course we're going to be playing this little cyborg soldier on that day." No, we're going to be blasting into it and really, really enjoying that Metroid Prime 4. So, yeah, it's so important that Blaze get a good mix of cartridges, but at the same time, you've got to have some big hitters in there. I feel the 5 that have just dropped, again, we've mentioned, there's a few lackluster ones in there, which didn't quite, people wouldn't really want under their Christmas tree. So, if possible, I think that's something Blaze have really got to think about in the future.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? What are you thinking on these 2 new?
Yeah, so there was a question there from Toxo about what games are appearing on what. So now the only game that's on the Taito Super Pocket that you can't get on a cart is Space Invaders 91. So every other game on the Taito Super Pocket is now on a cart. Every game on the Alpha is on a cart as well. So you can get those. But this is actually a Taito cart that actually has 5 games that we don't already have. So, it may be, and from that perspective, the trouble with me with the Taito carts is the best games are all on all the different carts. I love Puzzle Bobble, but the other games maybe not so much. And I love Growl, but that's on Taito 1, and so I love Elevator Action, but that's on Taito 2. So they've really done me over, really, by splitting up all my favorite games on all to the different carts. That's the one. But the Turrican, I think actually, if you look back at the record books, my brother actually asked a question of Derek last TEP, when's there going to be a Turrican collection, and then we get one. This is a question for Derek probably. Obviously we're getting the Amiga versions of the home computer. And the home computer ones, but lots of people are saying like C64 they would have preferred. I grew up with the Amstrad version. We had it on a disc, actually. We got an extra disc drive for our CPC 464. But from my perspective, I always think that the Amiga home computer versions of games are generally the best versions of the games, but because you got better graphics and better sound and that sort of thing, even compared to the C64. But is there a lot of difference between the C64 and the Amiga version, Eric? I don't know him enough.
I own the Commodore 64 versions originally. That's where I first discovered Turrican. Obviously, I would have loved to have seen those versions included. Unfortunately, they belong to somebody else, which is it's not tricky. I mean, when we're talking about this, what you got to think is the guy that owns Turrican 1 and 2 on the C64, he's only literally got probably less than 10 years to actually sell these games to manufacturers to put on cartridges. And my generation aren't going to want it. As I said to you, my last collection ever of Turrican is now on the Switch. So he's missed that boat. It's that important to get, it's like the Desert Strike games and things like that. If EA keep messing around with Blaze, I'll tell you, nobody's going to want to play them, because my grandson, he doesn't want to play that. He can get a realistic helicopter game. So it's so important that these developers realize that what you've got isn't worth £1 million. It's probably worth nuts now. And you've got to get it licensed as quickly as possible to an Evercade cartridge and make a few quid rather than no money. It's that important. I would love to have seen even the Amstrad CPC 464 versions. I would love to have seen that. I mean, if you've ever seen Rainbow Islands on the Amstrad CPC 464 in color rather than the green screen, absolute magic. Yeah, this game is fantastic. Yes, we desperately would love to see those games. I think there's still a hole there for Blaze. I think they could do a blue cartridge. I think they could get, some different versions of Turrican home computer versions on there. And I think people like myself would lap it up. I think that might still be an angle they could work. Because if
you can hit that nostalgia, isn't it? Because people are you'll get a bit of a nostalgia hit, and I'll get a bit of a nostalgia hit. I've never played the Amiga version of Turrican, but if I play it, I'll be like, oh yeah, this is kind of similar, and maybe the graphics are a little bit sharper, but it won't hit quite the same as the version you exactly remember. And somebody put in the chat there the question about what versions. So it's 3 Amiga versions. So Turrican 1, 2, and 3 on the Amiga, and then you've got Mega Turrican for the Mega Drive and Mega Turrican Director's Cut. Turrican. And then you've got Super Turrican and Super Turrican 2, which are the SNES versions or the Super NES versions. So it's Super NES, Mega Drive, and Amiga versions on there. So it is a mixed cart. I don't know if we're going to get a reversible cover again for that, but
that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's got home computer on it, but I think they've all the advertising's been red covers, hasn't it? But I like the way that they announce the car, and then now you can actually pre-order it straight away. There's not that delay anymore. That again, you get people excited, and then they want to go and buy it, and then they got to wait a couple of weeks or a month or something, and then they don't want to buy it anymore. But get them excited, jump on it, buy it straight away. And then they can regret it later, maybe. But yeah, no, two great carts. I know my brother's definitely going to be in on the Turrican one, and then I'll just borrow it off him probably.
So yeah, so myself, Taito Arcade 3. I've got a Taito Super Pocket, so the main games I just don't feel it's worth £20, which comes up when Andy said earlier with the price of the carts, with the price of the carts now at 20 quid. When they used to, if it was 15, I probably would have bought it. But £20, I'm a bit like, I don't know. And like we said in our last TEP, we think they're gonna try and increase that next year as well.
Well, even if it's the £18, because they went up from 15 up to
15.
17.99, didn't they?
Yeah.
So the £18 is just feels a bit nicer, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, like he's put the price increases and 20. It's killed a lot of the pocket money. So yeah, for me, I don't feel it's worth £20 cart when I've already got the Super Pocket. But Turrican Collection, I have pre-ordered. I've pre-ordered it on Amazon, so
well done.
they don't take my money straight away. I've only really played one of them, but I haven't really. I think there's one on the Super Nintendo, but I've never played any of the others. So it's interesting for me to. I love these type of games. I think for me personally, I think it'd be better on the alpha. So I can't wait to be playing that on the alpha. So yeah, I have pre-ordered them, both of them, and you get 8 games. It says plus two extras.
Plus 2 others. Yeah, it's got
the
this super shoot or something. It sounds a bit like a bit of an arcade mode. They call it the score attack. So I don't know what that's about. It's got Super Turrican score attack and Mega Turrican score attack. So I think it's maybe not quite so not quite so story driven or whatever, have as much as it's a story, but more of a high score chaser or something. Yeah.
But no, Super Turrican. Well, sorry, the Turrican collection. I did think looks quite good, and I think and for me, it's a bit of discovery because I haven't really played them titles. So, definite day one for me. I just felt Taito when you've already got a Super Pocket, you're kind of like double dipping. Like Derek said earlier, I don't want to be double dipping £20 for pretty much only really going to play on there as a football game and Puzzle Bobble. I'm really only going to play them two, really, to be honest. The other ones don't really appeal to me, honestly.